Hey everyone, I'm Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have 10 sustainable living tips for you to help you to live more holistically. We're talking about this for two reasons. One, our earth definitely needs us to think about sustainability and to really care for it. And two, if you're someone that is trying to live more holistically, so living in connection with your body, mind, and soul, you really do need to think about sustainability, at least on some level, because how can you truly nurture your soul and spirit and not care for the land that you live on? So I know it might not seem like holistic living would directly relate to living sustainably, but I do think it really has a place. It can really help you in living your holistic lifestyle, right? Not only are you helping the earth, the planet, but when you do these things, it really does feel good on a soul level because you're really caring for your home. Our earth is our home in this human experience. You don't have to be perfect in all aspects of sustainability. Even doing small things really add up. They really matter. So don't get stuck in, well, I'm doing this, that's not necessarily sustainable, so you give up on all other aspects. Even doing these small things count, and our earth really appreciates it. So with all that said, let's get into our 10 tips. So my first tip is gonna be recycle when you can. And I know this may seem like a basic tip, but it surprises me how many people don't recycle even with their curbside recycling. So if you're not even doing curbside recycling, I would start with that. And if you want to take this further, there are many other ways you can recycle. I literally have recycle bins. I have too many recycle bins. I have probably like 5 different recycle bins in my house, and I really try to go the extra step and recycle what I can to really limit what's being put in the trash, because it just blows my mind how much waste we have. Of course, I'm not perfect. I'm still throwing things out, but I try to go the extra step. A nice, easy way. Oh, I don't know if it's easy. I think it's easy. Something that a lot of people probably will have access to in their area is store drop-off recycling. So a lot of the plastic wrapping that like Amazon packages come in, and other plastic wrapping, like the plastic wrapping that say you'll like find around like paper towels or something. A lot of times that is eligible for store drop off. You just have to do a little research. I will put a link in the description down below so you can learn more. A lot of times right on the label it will say store drop off recycling, and usually you could find a location to drop this off locally. So for me, there's a Lowe's near me that has it. Target has a bin, and it's really easy. Honestly, it really doesn't take much time. Yes, it's an extra bin that I'm sorting this into, and when I bring it, literally I pass Lowe's on the way to going to the gym. So if I'm by myself, it takes me an extra 2 minutes to park, walk in, and put it in the bin. If my husband goes to the gym with me, it's even quicker. Literally drop me at the front and I'll be out in like 30 seconds. So it's really not a huge time commitment, and it really helps limit the amount of waste that we're throwing out. Another thing is TerraCycle I use. So brands can be part of TerraCycle, and then you can ship back the packaging when you're done. So I use that for the dog food I use as part of that. So I ship that back, and some food brands have it. So I actually found this one recently, Now Real Foods, because I've been doing seed cycling, so I've been eating a lot of different seeds, so that's why I have these. But anyway, I wanted a bigger package than I could find in my grocery store, so I was looking at Amazon. I bought this, and then I saw that it was eligible for TerraCycle. So honestly, now I am, if I'm purchasing, because they're organic, so if I can purchase nuts, seeds from this brand, I am, so that I can ship back the plastic wrapping and I'm not throwing it out. Like I said, of course I'm not perfect. I have food that I buy that, of course, the wrapping has to go in the garbage. There's nowhere to put it, but these are things you could think about to start to reduce waste and go that extra step with recycling. Okay, so next tip is to really try to use reusable storage items. So instead of putting something in a Ziploc bag, wrapping it in aluminum foil, is there another way you can store that item? Glass containers, I use glass containers. That's a really great way, right, to limit the use of this. And then I also use, this is why I switched to my kitchen, because I have it all somewhat close by. I use, like, these are really great. They're food huggers, so I'll use them, like, if I cut, like, say, I don't know, like a lemon, and I only used half of it, then I can stick this on there, and that will keep that good. If I want something that's more like a Ziploc e-bag. I have these reusable bags that you can hand wash when you're done. So just thinking about ways that you could store your food or store leftovers is a great way to reduce waste, and plus it's better for you, right? Thinking about ways that you can maybe limit the amount of time your food's sitting in plastic, right? So I honestly prefer, like, I use the glass containers. I've been on a plastic detox and I think I've gotten rid of almost all the plastic storage containers in my home. I still have some left probably, but mostly I've kind of detoxed from that. So this tip, also will help the planet, but it will also be better for your health. Okay, your next tip is to compost if you can. And if you have local composting, I'm jealous. I wish my area had that. So that's great. So if you can do that, easy. And if you don't, then maybe creating your own compost. This tip is not going to be for everyone, right? If you don't have a yard, you're probably not going to be composting. But if you have the option, if you do a little gardening, then composting is a great option to limit the amount of food you're throwing out. And it's also good for your soil health. So you kind of get a 2-for-1 there. And again, it's not being perfect. Like, I don't have a massive compost, so I can't throw everything in the compost. I compost certain things. I'm also kind of a beginner composter, so I'm still learning, but it's not like I can throw everything in the compost. But still, it is limiting the amount of food I throw out. So like vegetable fruit scraps, right? Like you eat an apple, you're down to the core, you could throw that in your compost. Coffee grounds are great for the compost. You do need a mix of, like, it's called greens and browns. So browns would be like leaves outside, so you do need a balance. So there is kind of like an art to composting, but there's another sustainable tip if that is available to you. Tip number 4 is to repurpose leftover water. So instead of just dumping water down the drain that is still usable, so say I want to change my dog's water bowl, or I have leftover water in my tea kettle that I might want fresh water for my tea, I'll use this to give water to my plants. So instead of just dumping it down the drain, using it for another purpose. Tip number 5 is to try to choose to support an ethical brand when you can, to purchase from a more ethical brand, a brand that is focused on sustainability, that thinks about their impact on the planet. So that's something that I do a lot when I'm purchasing, trying to switch my purchasing habits to really support brands that are concerned with our planet and sustainability. It doesn't mean I never purchase anything off the Amazon. It just means that this is something I think about and I try to choose a different brand when I can. So recently I used to just get my coffee off of Amazon. It was still a decent brand, but I would get it on my subscribe and save on Amazon, and I recently switched to support a different brand that actually has really good coffee, and they're definitely a more ethically focused company. So that was a recent switch I made. So just things like that can really help you to live more sustainably. Tip number 6 is to donate when you can instead of just throwing something out, because I think a lot of times when we're in a clean out phase, we end up throwing out a lot of things that can be donated. So check in your area what you can donate. Of course, like clothes is a really great one that most people will have accessibility to donate. And even in my area, so I know not all clothes you can donate. If something's really just at the end of its lifespan, you're not going to donate it. But my area also has recycle bins for clothing. So you can also recycle clothes that would not be eligible for donation. So donate when you can. Again, recycle when you can. We're back to recycling. Another way to do this is like listing things on Marketplace. So like when I got my new couch, which was really kind of repurposed in a way. It was from my mother-in-law. But when I got rid of my old couch, I literally just listed it on Marketplace for free for someone to come pick up, so that instead of just throwing it out on the curb, someone can actually use it. So those are just ways or things to start to think about so you can limit the amount of things that you are throwing in the trash. Tip number 7 is to get creative with your meals. So instead of just throwing out leftovers or finding something in the back of your pantry that's now expired, really trying to use what you have. So this is something I do. My pantry tends to get messy kind of quickly. I wish I was better at keeping it nice and organized. So I'm always kind of going through and organizing, and then I'll find, like, I'm like, okay, I have these lentils or something that, you know, I have open and I need to use. Like, what in my pantry can I cook with? Can I incorporate in meals so that I'm not wasting it? So this is another little sustainable tip that you can incorporate into your life that I feel like is a little more accessible. It's not like an extra step on something you have to do. You're just kind of changing how you would cook a little bit. Your next tip is to switch to sustainably packaged products. So there's nothing I hate more than when I purchase something and it's so excessively packaged that it doesn't even make sense. Like, for example, when you buy paper towels from like Costco, they have each individual roll of paper towels wrapped in plastic, and then there's like plastic around the outside. That drives me crazy. So just finding brands that are packaged more sustainably. So some easy swaps I've done for this. I'm not saying you can't buy your paper towels at Costco. It's just something that came in my mind that really pisses me off. So anyway, easy switches. You could use a bar soap, like for body wash, using a bar soap instead of body wash that would come in a plastic container, right? Because usually the bar soap would be just in like a cardboard box. So that's an easy swap. And another thing I do is for laundry detergent and dishwasher detergent, I use tablets instead of purchasing detergent that will come in plastics. So those are some other easy swaps to reduce waste. And the brands I also use, I'm very focused on if they're healthy for me as well. So finding brands that are rated well on EWG is something that's really important to me. So that's something else I think about when I am purchasing products. Okay, so your next sustainable living tip is to maximize natural light. So I was gonna film this and show you how much light comes into my living room, but I'll have to overlay it or something because it's actually literally blinding if I stand over there. So I rarely put a light on during the day. I pretty much just use the natural light. I do get a lot of natural light coming in through my living room, so I am lucky in that way. But during the day, trying to just use the natural light when you can, and at night, trying not to have every single light on in the house. I will say I could be better at that because I tend to forget to turn them off when I leave a room, but that's another nice little sustainable tip for you. My last sustainable tip is to collect rainwater to water your plants. So do not drink it. This is not for drinking. You're collecting it to water your plants in the warmer months. So that's not happening in the winter, but I do have a rainwater collector on my patio, and it's actually great because my hose doesn't, I mean, it reaches my patio, but it's a pain in the ass to drag the hose all the way to the patio. So with my rainwater collector, it actually makes my life so much easier. And usually throughout the summer, I get enough water in that I pretty much never have to actually drag the hose to water the plants on my patio. So those are your 10 tips to live more sustainably, to hopefully help you to feel more grounded in a holistic lifestyle where you're supporting your body, mind, and soul, but also supporting, right, the earth, your home. It's gonna help you to really just feel more connected with the earth, which I really feel like helps you feel more connected with yourself as well. I hope you found these tips helpful. And again, remember, you don't need to be perfect to take action. These small steps really add up. So it's not like you need to do every single thing that I mentioned in today's video. Even picking one thing to add in is amazing, and it really does make a difference, right? Imagine every single person drank one plastic water bottle a day, not that I recommend that, and thought, well, I'm just one person and I'm just gonna throw this in the trash. It doesn't matter, right? Think about all the waste that would accumulate, as opposed to if those people then said, okay, let me recycle, or even better, let me switch to a more sustainable option instead of drinking out of a plastic water bottle. So small actions add up. Don't get stuck in needing to be perfect. And yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. And that's all for me for today. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button right below me, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye guys.